Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is Muhammad Izisar bin Izzuddin Shah and I'm from section 2. So today I'll be presenting about the Nakaba, which is a batik production center that functions as a commercial and education center. The building specializes in providing job opportunity and to revitalize batik culture in Kampung Sungai Pusu. And the site, which is Site B, is located on a steep slope beside Jalan DJ Utama. The building design signifies the colliding culture of Minangkabau, which is the origin of Kampung Sungai Pusu residents, and the modern contemporary design to highlight the client's signature batik style. So the user of the building will be tourists, technicians, students, staffs, and also the batik designer. So according to the site plan, the site is located on a steep slope while having a prevailing wind that comes from the northeast direction and also the south direction. So the building has an opening that faces towards the northeast and also the south direction to allow natural ventilation into the building, as well as to eliminate chemical gases that comes from the batik workshop easily. So the client for the building is named after Farah Mohan. So she lives in the Bansara KL and owns a business of batik, well known as Nova Batik. So her preferences are she likes to integrate nature within space, likes using bamboo as a material of the building. She also prefers the interior of bohemian concept and values her own privacy and prefers private studio. She also likes the concept of being mysterious and also inspirational towards others. So for the first case study synthesis is to apply laminated bamboo timber since it is more durable than glue lamp, has an aesthetical value and can be used as reinforcement in various structural members. Next is the application of faded glass facade. This idea can be used to showcase the client's batik on the facade of the building as similar as Menara Suasana in Putrajaya. So the next study is to apply retaining wall on the building since it is located on a very steep slope. So it will preserve the land of the boundary as well as stabilizes the steep slope itself. And the last case study is to apply the Rumah Melayu space organization within the building. This is because the Rumah Melayu has an ideal way of segregating the privacy of spaces. For example, the lobby of the building acts as a serambi of the Rumah Melayu, while the corridor to access other spaces in the building act as a rumah ibu, while the office and the private studio act as a kitchen as similar as the Rumah Melayu that has the highest privacy. So next we'll move on to the precedent study synthesis. So the first one is the Royal Ontario Museum. So this building showcases the cladding tradition with modern era. And also some part of the building since back in the centuries are preserved to show the traditional value of the building and also utilizes negative spaces within the building as well. So next is the Batik Production Center in Penang. So it consists of conventional special organization of Batik Production Center. It also has an open workshop to allow hot chemical air out and to allow natural ventilation in the building, while functions as a commercial and educational center as well. And the last precedent study is housed with 5 retaining walls in Japan. So by the name, it is equipped with 5 retaining walls due to the irregular shape of the site, and the space and form are morphed in accordance to the shape of the site. So next we move on to the bubble diagram of the building. So as we can see from the ground floor plan, it is equipped with most spaces are semi and private spaces. This is because to ease the access for services within the building, while the first floor plan are known to be the prime level of this building since all of the commercial spaces are placed within this space. And since the site is located on a steep slope, the main entrance is placed on this floor as well to ease the access for public in the building and not to interrupt the private spaces. While the second floor plan only allocates 2 spaces, which are the workshop and also the private studio. So these 2 spaces are segregated and cannot be accessed on the same floor since the workshop is a public space and the client wants her own private studio. So it is located on the west side of the site, which is segregated from the public spaces. While the vertical circulation of the building are placed on 3 different sides, which is the first one, the core of the building is placed on the middle of the building, while the 2 private staircases are placed on either side of the site to ease the circulation of the building. And all of the staircases are acted as fire staircases since the exit of the building are located on the bottom of all the staircases. So next we move on to the concept studies of the building. So the concept comes from two main ideas, which is the first one is Batik Production Center is to revitalize culture of batik and to introduce the modern style of batik which the client specializes while providing a job opportunity in the particular area. The next idea is the summary of the site. So the shape of the site kind of resembles a bull's horn, and this idea can be related with the origin culture of Kampung Sungai Pusu residents where most of them comes from the Minangkabau tribe. So that's where the word inspiration comes forth and can be related with Surah As-Sajdah in Ayah 7. He who has made everything which he has created most good, that is beautiful, Al-Husn. He began the creation of man with there is nothing more than clay. Then something that is inspired can be related with what the client specializes, that is the modern contemporary batik. So it is known as something that is very unconventional since batik is known to be traditional and it contrasts with the conventional one. So by taking these two main points, that is contrast as the main highlights and the design that inspired from culture and tradition of the client, we will soon get the concept of dissimilarity stimulus, or in simpler words is contrasted inspiration. So from the two idea of contrast and inspiration with the appropriate precedent study that is illustrates propagating culture of old and new, we will soon get the architecture style of modern vernacular that is a traditional contemporary amalgamation. So next we'll move on to the morphology of the form. So the form comes from three different axes which are Qibla, view and also the wind direction. The next step is to consider the circulation of the building. So it segregates into two different circulation. So for the west side it is allocated for the public while the east side is for services vehicles. And as I mentioned before, the building separates into three different vertical axes, which is the first one is private on the left side, the public access staircase on the middle side, while the semi-private staircase is allocated on the east side of the building. Last is the implementation of solids and voids to allow natural ventilation and for the user to look over to the good view. And as mentioned before, the building separates into two different circulation. The left side is for public while the right side is for service vehicles. The spaces for the ground floor plan are mostly private and semi-private. So this level can be accessed through the secondary entrance, which is allocated just nearby the staircase on the middle part of the building. This will ease the access to the musola and seminar room and also the toilet from outside of the building. While the right side of the building allocates kitchen, loading storage to ease the access of services, while the garbage chute is placed just beside the kitchen. Moving on to the first floor plan, the main entrance is placed on the southwest side of the building, so the user will overlook towards the retail shop directly beside the lobby and the seminar room as well. And when they move further in of the building, they will meet the open cafe towards the view of the site and also the exhibition. While on the left side of the building is allocated office, which is a private space. So it has its own set of staircases to access the particular space, which is above the parking lot. Meanwhile, the second floor plan consists of two spaces, which are the private studio and also the workshop. So the workshop has 4 different spaces for each of the batik making process. So the first one on the top left side is the janting or block painting area, while beside it is the painting area for batik. And after done with the painting, the batik maker will then go to the lower part of the space, which is the soaking area, to wash away the chemicals from the batik. And after soaking, they will then go to the uppermost part, which is the drying area, to dry the batik and to be ready to be sold. While the client's private studio consists of many plantations in order for her own productivity, since she is known to work well with greeneries and nature in her own surroundings. The private studio also allocates its own private bathroom and also pantry in order for the client to feel herself at home. So these are the interior perspective of the building, where we can see exhibition, cafe, workshop, and also seminar room. And to be seen the building from the southeast elevation, as mentioned earlier, the building consists of 2 different styles, which is on the right side consists of vernacular Malay style, while on the left side mostly are contemporary style. And the walls for the workshop consists of laminated bamboo louvers in order to eliminate the chemical gases out of the building efficiently. So the building structure consists of timber construction, and from the ground part of the building, it consists of concrete masonry and having a retaining wall on the rear part of the building to withstand forces coming from the slope. While the roofs consist of timber construction as well, and most part of the building uses mono-pitch type of roof. So these two are the east and west elevation of the building, where we can see the entrance from the east elevation while the open cafe on the west elevation. So this is how the building look like from the rear side. And this is the section YY, and we can see the dominant atrium, which is the hierarchy of the building that holds the building together. And it has a batik display on the middle part of the staircase while having faded glass with the client's batik all around it. While the private studio is designed to be like a home studio for the client in order for her own productivity. And from the section XX, we can see the workshop on the top part, while the exhibition is below it and the services room on the lowest part of the building. So this is how the sanitary and water diagram looks like. So from the sanitary diagram, we can see the manholes are separated into two different parts, that is left and right of the building, to ease the elimination of waste while having two vent pipes. And this is how the water diagram looks like, where the water tank is located on the top part of the building. And last but not least is the final model for the design. And for the construction model, the building uses post and beam structures, while the white one serves as the core of the building, which is the staircase. And that is all for the Nakaba the Batik Production Center presentation. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.